Everybody, it's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, Conversations. I'm the host of Conversations, 2018 award winner in the innovation category, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association, and I host monthly conversations for dads, and these are online conversations that are sponsored by Dad Central, which is Canada's national fatherhood organization, and Dove Men Care. And we love to have new friends on the Dr. Vibe, home of epic conversations. One of the ladies here, though, is not a new friend. She know me well, but thank goodness she's not going to say too much bad about me because we have other people on the line tonight. But what we're going to be chatting about, our main driver of conversation tonight, is an organization called the Jahmeyka Project. I'm just going to share a little bit about it with you. It's a nonprofit organization run by licensed social workers and funded solely by donations seeking directly benefit social services and communities in Jamaica. Its origins began 20 years ago when Dr. Leslie Yaffa, who is with us, went to Jamaica as a Master's of Social Work student. She became a college professor and created a graduate level course that offers students international social work and experience focused on community engagement in Jamaica. After 5 years of visiting multiple agencies, providing community service to selected agencies, and experiencing the Jamaican social service culture, it was clear to Dr. Yaffa that the work, partnerships, and connections to the communities had to go beyond the classroom. Today, the organization utilizes service learning and educational approach to integrate with the partnerships in Jamaica. They build on critical and reflective thinking, community service, partnership, responsibility, and inclusion. Through knowledge, mobilization, and partnerships, they are continuing to build a nonprofit that will be open to helping all helping professions in future years who want to engage in professional trainings, workshops, field placements into Jamaican organizations, outreach and research in Jamaica. Beyond their work on the ground, it supports organizations in the Kingston, Jamaica area, why not Mobay, who have identified needs of their communities for goods such as school supplies and hygiene products. They also donate funds to agencies for their operating costs that are deemed to be most in need based on their service, based upon their application process. So let's get down to it. Their mission is to enhance community partnerships through a collaborative knowledge exchange as an ally with social services in Jamaica. And also their vision is to foster inclusion of social services through education, alongside helping professionals by engaging mutual partnerships and communities in the Caribbean. So we have 3 members of this wonderful organization tonight. We have Dr. Yaffa. We also have Amy and Stacy. Ladies, how we doing?
Good. We're happy to be here, Ed.
Thanks for having us.
Well, it's been too long, and I've been wanting to know what's been going on with this organization. So finally, we're making it happen. And before we get talking about the Jahmeyka Project, I'd like each one of you to share a little bit about your background. So, of course, we have to go to Dr. Yaffa first.
Of course. Okay. So my my background, I'm a social worker by trade and an academic now, and I still do private practice 1 day a week. I am the chief volunteer of the Jahmeyka Project. I always say that. And I have been working in university settings for the last, I guess now almost 15 years. And
wow.
Yeah, so that's how this all sprung out, is from a university course. So yeah, that's me.
And you've always been passionate about Jamaica since we met each other.
And how long ago was that, Ed? Or Dr. Vibe? I can't just say Ed. I keep saying Ed.
I'd say it's got to be at least, I'd say we're going about 20 to 25 years ago.
Yeah. And
I'd say at least
we did a lot of work. I mean, that's how I started going to Jamaica, was working in the West Indian Jamaican community here in Toronto. So and you were part of that, and that's how we did a lot of the innovative stuff.
I would say definitely, I'd say 22 to 23 years ago. Actually, wow. When we finish this, I'm going to go offline because I know we did some recordings way back when, those days. I'll be able to pull out that information. So thank you so much for sharing. Let's go Amy next. Amy, let's hear a little bit about you.
So social work is a little bit newer to me than Leslie. I started as a fine arts major many years ago and then went into a career change. So I am a child and family therapist here in Maine and just loving doing that.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And Stacy?
Hi, Stacy. I live in Ohio, here in the United States, and I have my bachelor's degree in social work, and then I went on to get my master's degree in social work. And I currently work in a community mental health setting, doing a lot of substance abuse, mental health, and I have focused on trauma treatment, and kind of got connected with Leslie through my graduate studies.
Okay. And Amy, how did you encounter the Yaffa?
So I encountered Leslie when I signed up for her program for the University of New England, and then got a chance to experience Jamaica. The first time I ever met Leslie was in Jamaica.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So Leslie, where does your love from Jamaica come from? Because like I said, since day I know you love Jamaica. So where did that come from? Where did that originate from?
I think it originated when I started doing actual practicing. I don't think I was a full social worker yet. I think when we met, I wasn't a full social worker yet. I was still in school. And I used to go do tons of grassroots stuff in the community, in the West Indian community, primarily the Jamaican community. And so when I had the opportunity, when I was doing my master's clinical rotations, or what they call practicum, I said, let me see. Oh, is it gone off? Can you guys hear me?
No, you're still here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's all spinning. Okay. And when I was doing my master's, I had the opportunity to do an international placement to do my clinical rotations, and I took it.
I think Leslie is just frozen on us.
I think she lost connection.
Okay. All right. So while Leslie comes back, Amy, where did the love for Jamaica come for you?
So when I went on the immersion trip with Leslie in her class, I just really felt that was just not enough time in Jamaica. I think anyone who's been there would probably agree. And so I approached her and said, could I do my practicum there? So then I was actually able to go back for another almost 4 months and just had a wonderful time learning from everyone there and just learning so much and about the culture and meeting lots of great people that I still love to go visit.
Nice. We've got Leslie back. So Leslie, continue about where the love.
Yeah, I think where I left off.
Just where your love for Jamaica come from.
Okay, so I don't know the last part you heard from, but I did a lot of work here in the West Indian community, whether I was a registered social worker. Before that, I did tons of work with people in the community, and that's one of the reasons I met Ed. And our vintage of activism that we were doing here in Toronto. And then when I had the opportunity, when I had my master's of social work, I was the first student to do an international student placement. They didn't know what they were doing, but I went to Jamaica and I landed on that island, and I was like, and I looked up at the mountains, and I'm like, what am I doing here? That was in 1996.
Wow.
And you know what? Even to this day, I worked in a place called Waterhouse, which is one of the urban centers, and people said to me, I wouldn't go in there, and I'm Jamaican. Why are you, as a white chick, going into Waterhouse? So that's how the love affair began.
Wonderful. Stacy, what's the story with you?
Well, like Amy kind of mentioned, how we all first met was, each year Leslie would have a course where part of that was a 10-week, or a 10-day trip to actually do social work in Jamaica. And so that's where I met Leslie for the first time. So in meeting there and just, the culture and the people, and I just like, Amy said, I don't think anyone can go there and kind of interact with the people and not fall in love with them. And so, and then I came back as a mentor and then eventually evolved into being a board member.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask some of the fun questions now. So Amy and Stacy, give me recollections of your first meeting of Leslie.
Oh, thank you. Can I give you my
and then after that, I want to hear the first time all three of you met. So individually and then collectively. So who wants to go first about the individual?
I can go ahead.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
And be kind. On top of that, don't be shy and be kind.
I think the first time I remember meeting Leslie would have been, I think, the first night of the trip. We all kind of got together and just tried to get to know each other. And, you definitely noticed Leslie when she's there. So it's, you notice your teacher anyway, but Leslie has the kind of personality. She just, draws you in and gets you excited about, whatever you're doing. So that's what I remember is, her really trying to get the mentors to get us to know each other and, to work on some stuff. And it was really fun.
Thank you for being kind.
Nice.
Now I went, Amy and I didn't go the same year as students. So we didn't actually meet till later on in the process. So I met Leslie kind of the same, as Amy, that first evening arriving at class, after getting settled, and, she, has just like an energy that just attracts, people to her, and you want to be a part of whatever she's doing. So,
thank you for being kind.
You're paying them well, Leslie. You're paying them well.
I know. That was the best so far.
Okay, good stuff. And I just want to shout out, there are people watching this on Facebook. There are people watching this on YouTube. There are people watching this on Periscope. So you ladies got something going on, because not too many times I have people watching on all three platforms at the same time.
It's us. It's our magnetic personalities, I think. Yeah.
I tell you. And also, there's someone named JP Moati.
Yeah, he's our not-for-profit coach.
Okay, well, he is actually watching on YouTube right now live, and he says, hello, welcome.
Hello, and welcome back.
Hello.
So Leslie, this idea of the Jahmeyka Project, was this something you had in mind before you met Amy and Stacy, or after you met Stacy and Amy?
I think it came out of a need. So when I got to the University of New England as a professor, I wanted to develop a travel course that had a component about Jamaica. Because after I did my clinical rotations there, and I said, if I get my PhD, I'm going to bring students there. That was the idea of creating a course, and they happened to let me. So I kind of, after the first year, I kind of dug my heels in, and they said, you can't bring, where do you bring online students? How are you going to get them there? What's going to happen? And they all kind of hyperventilate. And so I can do it. I can work a system. I can work and navigate a system. So I created this course called International Social Work in the Caribbean. And the one week of the 8-week course we would spend in Jamaica. And then, of course, it expanded into practicums. Like Amy went as for a longer period of time after she had come to the first time. And so that happened over a 5-year period. And then I was leaving University of New England and School of Social Work. And when I was leaving, I had this like epiphany. Should I start, we had built a pretty good community through fundraising, through students, family members. And so I said, I just can't abandon this community. Because when I wrote that course, I didn't want to just write a course. I wanted to build a community. And that was a lot of stuff I've done in the past is kind of this grassroots effort. And so what I built in it was a tier of mentoring. So the first year, if you had went to Jamaica before, you could come back as a mentor. So there was different tiers of different years all met each other over that 5-year period. So,
Got it.
and then one day I was driving my car. I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm leaving University of New England. I can't run the course again. What am I going to do? And I kind of threw it out to the community because, and they said everybody was pretty enthusiastic about building the Jahmeyka Project.
So, Amy and Stacy, when Leslie approached you about this idea, what was your first response?
I was in from day one. I didn't have any hesitation about it.
Yeah, same here. It was just, I think it was just a great opportunity, and to continue to, not that we can't go to Jamaica on our own, but, to have that, additional connection, and, to be able to go with a group like that and really, do some great work. So no hesitation.
So go ahead, Leslie.
So we found it, when we were down there, we found a niche, right? We found that there was a gapping in community services down there. So things that either just from lack of resources, that's really what it all is, not from expertise per se, but from lack of resources. And so that's how we kind of found our niche in terms of the helping profession, because we're all from the helping profession, right? And so we just continue, we kind of continued on that was kind of the foundation that we went on, and we moved into getting not-for-profit status in Canada and the United States. And your mic's off, Ed.
No, I know, but that's impressive. But that's impressive though, because not many. And that nonprofit status. How many years were you able to get both in both countries? Because that's not a usual thing.
No. So last year, when we first started that, we had a lot of people who wanted to be part of the Jahmeyka Project, and that we've had to restructure since, because you realize how many people really want to be part of it and actually do the work. And me and you have had a conversation about this, Ed, how much you really want to do the work and how much you really not want to do the work. So we've had to restructure, and in doing that, we've always had the not-for-profit status in the States from the very beginning.
Okay.
And then we thought it was a good idea because we know that there's tons of Jamaicans here that would be, and people approached me over the years and said, I would like to be part of it, I'd like to be part of it. And so it only makes sense to have a not-for-profit status here as well. So that is almost done, because we are seeking out 2 more members of the community.
Excellent. Before we go further, Lisa Boris says hello, and JP says they are an amazing team, and he gives a thumbs up.
Okay, she's part of our board. She's a board member.
There you go.
Hi, Lisa Boris.
Lots of support.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, JP.
So what was, remember, let's have memories back when the team made your first trip down to Jamaica. What was?
Oh, wow. So the actual school trip, the first school trip went down in 2010. 2010. And because you're testing my memory. 2010, that's the actual school trip. The actual board trip, I think, went first time in 2018 was the first trip as a board.
Mm-hmm. And
so, and because we all knew each other, and we have a lot of history, because particularly Stacy would come almost every year. I think she didn't come one year of all those years. So, and we all knew each other really well, and that was both a bonus and a detriment at times, right? Because you work with people and you become like family with each other, and so it was a struggle to kind of get our footing and still remain professional, but still have those friendly that friendly camaraderie, and not step over the line in terms of board work.
I'm sure this question comes up all the time, but I'm going to just get it out front. You don't look like Jamaicans.
We are not Jamaicans. We're white girls.
We know that. So
Yaffa, Jamaican in our hearts.
Okay, all right. Because Yaffa, I consider her Jamaican because I know. But Amy and Stacey, look like you're from yard,
No, she's not from.
So my question would be, when you started this project and you approached organizations in Jamaica, was there initial pushback?
Oh, for sure. You want to answer that, Stacey?
I'd like to get.
I think some, agencies, they didn't want us to come in and give them this donation, and then kind of some other organizations, sometimes might do those things and then we're gone. And so we started looking at as a nonprofit, we wanted to build a community where that wasn't really what we wanted to do. We wanted to, how can we give something back? So that's where we brought in, are doing trainings and other funding. You know, how can we help them even outside of the time that we're there in Jamaica? And you know, so we slowly were able to get into some agencies, but then really even more than that, able to build connections with people in the community, and making those human connections with people has really helped, you know, make even more connections, and kind of word got out, you know, within the communities in Jamaica.
Okay. Amy, anything you want to add to that?
I would just say that I think we have some really strong connections. It definitely has taken some time to build those, and I think we all would miss when we don't get to go because we don't get to, you know, feel those connections in person. But I know any of the places that we've gone in the past and have those connections with, they're, you know, always looking for us to come back and you know,
Okay.
what can we do this time? So I think that's been a really great response once we've made those connections.
And we're in a really good place. We're currently like really in this phase of growing, you know, this growth mode that we've been in for the last several months, and doing a lot of great work. And, you know, we're looking, you know, to add more people to our board, you know, to have, you know, more skills, people that, you know, can help us do things better and get involved, you know.
So when you first arrived in, what were the needs that you felt weren't being addressed that you could add positive value to?
So I'll answer that. So I always go in, and I think I've employed to the students and now the board that we're not coming to fix anybody. We're not the great white hope. Because I just think these are partnerships. These are knowledge exchanges, right? They say, you know, Mona Social Services at University of the West Indies has said, we and I think one of us, I know I did it, and I think somebody else did it on the board. They have a parenting manual. Can you help us, help us with this parenting manual? Okay. And so it's those kind of things that are really like kind of important. Yep. That we make sure that we're not there to culture vulture. That we're there, we're there as partners, and that's why I think we've made good partners, and I think we have up to 25 now of partners that we've made, and that we come in and say, hey, we're working with you. We're here to help you with the lack of resources. Maybe you need some expertise on this or not, or you can teach us something. But it's that knowledge exchange that's really, really important.
Part of it is we ask. We don't go in and say, this is assuming, we assume this is what you need. Hey, you're one of our partners. What would you like? What is there something you think that maybe that we can connect and work on together?
Excellent.
Right. And different agencies want or need, different things. Some of them really just want trainings and helping their staff, and how can we help them to do what they're doing already a little bit better, and that's constantly evolving.
Right, because I think that's one of the biggest gaps we see is resources, obviously, in agencies down there. But I mean, everything from Danny Williams School for the Deaf to Grace Kennedy to Mustard Seed Communities, Life Yard. Anybody, you can look at our webpage just to see, our partners. But it's taken a long time because, as rightly said, Jamaicans are standoffish, and they should be when other people come in, right? Because you don't know what they want, what they don't want, what people want, what are people willing to give. And so it took a long time to build some of these relationships. But I think it's worth it. I think it's been worth it.
Just shouting. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, as we built a few, there at the beginning, and those kind of vouched for us, if you will, like you said, obviously we're not Jamaicans. And so once we were able to get some, kind of credit, if you will, from then further agencies connected with us. So, and I think it's just been a natural progression in that way.
And one of the interesting things was that we attach ourselves to at least I attached when I wrote the program, I attached ourselves to the University of the West Indies at the very beginning. And that seems to be a formidable relationship, the School of Social Work down there. And that that spun amazing friendships, and they know a lot of people who know a lot of people. And so the head of social work lives in a community called Woodford, which is I'd say about 25 minutes out of Kingston in the hills. And we did tons of fundraising for them over the years, because they have a school. What is a student learning center? What's it called? A student
homework center. Yeah.
Homework center. And it only costs $1,500 a year to run that homework center, and we raise that money every year to make sure the school was And so they were fantastic, and they would do street parties up there, and so we got to know people up there, and I mean, some of I just remember everybody dancing in the street. I have videos of it. I mean, it's just, and so. As the years have progressed, I think people come to celebrate us that we're there. So I do appreciate that.
Fantastic. Just want to shout out on YouTube. Lisa is saying, collaborate to build those connections for years to come, and to work with agencies so we can learn from each other.
Yep.
So what is the status of the social service agencies in Jamaica at this time? And is it any different than when you first, for lack of a better term, landed on the island?
Anybody want to answer that, or I can answer?
I mean, I think I can compare for the U.S. Where I reside. We have a lot of state or federal funding, and they just don't have that, and so they have to really be really creative, and they have that great ability to do such amazing things with very little resources. And so they're constantly figuring out how can they do more with even less.
Okay.
Yeah, resources I think are the biggest concern down there, right? I mean, anything from like Rise, who one of the first agencies I approached when Snita Abrams at Rise down there is one of the few mental health agencies in downtown Kingston, and they treat young youth. And she is amazing. She just goes from contract to contract and has to lay off staff at times. But they do like grassroots great work in the community, right? But they don't know if they're going to be there the next month or the next year, right? Because when we dealt with the Women's Center, which is a center that was one of our first agencies, again in Kingston, they are one of the few agencies down that are government funded. So most agencies, social service wise, are not government funded there, right? So they just go on grants and donations and good luck, right? And I think Snita Abrams, who runs Rise, has been doing contracts for the last 20 years, and she gets it every year, and somehow she gets people jobs. So I think it's not really not good work. Jamaicans are so innovative and resilient. It's not the good work. It's the resources, the lack of resources. But then you realize, oh my God, are we wasteful here in North America? That's the next thing.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying. That's all.
Could we do more?
Right now, exactly.
Is the big question.
Exactly. What is or do you have any relationships with the government?
I can answer that. We have one. It is very difficult to get into the government, any kind of government organization down there, because you have to go through their secretary, and then their secretary, and then their secretary to get anywhere. I did break through a couple of them, though. I broke through the child. We got into child welfare down there, and we do a workshop in one of the girls' homes in was it Red Hills? Is it Red Hills? Is it Red Hills, guys? Do you remember where it is? It's on the hill.
Yeah, it's on the hill. Yeah.
Remember? Stony Hill.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy. Stony Hill.
Yeah.
And somehow we broke through that. We broke through that, and they welcome us every year, and they're always welcoming. And it's kind of chaotic, but I think we do a good job when we're there, because we train the staff. We do some training with the staff, and then because they tell us what they want to do. So last year we did some team building with some of the staff, and then the other half of us went and did some work with the kids, the girls that are there. So that was one agency, and we kind of break through some. I'm doing some advocacy work around with Eva, who is the head of the Jamaican Association of Social Workers down there, and is a friend of mine. And we're trying to break through some of that government stuff and doing some advocacy work on that level. right? She's great. She's excellent at it. She's amazing. And she's actually an American who transplanted back to Jamaica. Yeah, she's a Jamaican descent, but she's American. But again, I always feel like when I'm in Jamaica, not necessarily here, and I told you this, Ed, that in Toronto, I feel like people work in silos here. In Jamaica, everybody wants to work together. Like there is no issue. Do you want to work together? Sure, let's work together. There's no territorial stuff going on down there. So I think, yeah.
No, you're on point. You're on point. You're good. You're good. Stacy and Amy.
Sometimes I babble.
You're all
Sometimes
right.
I babble.
One of the things I'd love to ask both of you, what was your first moment of being part of the Jahmeyka Project? And what I mean by that is one of the things I always do is whether I have a big success or little success, I would say yes. What was the first yes moment that you had being part of the Jahmeyka Project? You like the question, Leslie?
That was great. Yeah, because I want to think of my yes.
We'll get to you, but I want the ladies to bring it.
Okay, bring it, ladies.
I guess I would say it wasn't maybe our first trip, but our second trip. So we didn't go this year, but the year before in 2019. And, there's so much involved with putting the trips together and, coordinating, with the sites and everything. And it was just, I think, so great to see the connection, because we went to, we were scheduled to do a workshop at actually one of the places I did my practicum at Holy Family Primary. And we got there and there's a miscommunication on the day and time we were supposed to be there. But they were just so excited to see us. They just, loudspeaker, Jahmeyka Project's here. We're having a workshop. Everybody come to this classroom. We're having a workshop. And it was like 10 minutes and everybody was in there and so excited to just have us there, because we'd come before and they just knew that this was something that they wanted to be a part of. So I think that was a great thing not that we wanted to show up places and expect that they would do a workshop, but we were like, no, it's okay. If this is not going to work, they're like, no, we're having this. This is going to happen. Right. So that was.
And social workers are so marvelous at doing that, just like ad-libbing. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
Stacy, your first yes moment.
I think, I'm thinking about, going out to Mustard Seed and being able to doing some trainings with their staff, and, there's some really intense cases, HIV community. And so just being able to be supportive to the staff and how they can kind of take care of themselves better. And even just seeing us, because like you saw, we don't see each other unless we're in Jamaica. We don't really see each other in person outside of that. And so it's nice to see us kind of just being able to work together in that way, even though we don't really spend a lot of time one-on-one with each other.
So Leslie, you're respectfully the veteran. I say that respectfully. What was your first? I said veteran. Really? I don't discuss age and weight with ladies, so I'm just saying veteran. That's it.
Okay. Oh my God. There is so many that I have that I realize that what special people come every year. What special relationships we have down there with people who wait for us to come every year. I think I could think of a couple. I mean, anytime you go to an agency and there's that camaraderie is just special. I was talking about the dance party in Woodford. 1 year they threw us a dance party because every year we had raised money for them, and there was 1 year that they just threw us a dance party. Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, we are.
Are you guys hearing me?
You're freezing once in a while, but we can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, because it does this big spinning thing where it starts spinning and just like it's like the blue screen of death. I knew this was a community. I have a picture of my goddaughter who used to come on all our trips with us So all our places that we went, she would come. And she's been there since she was, how old? She's now 23. Since she was probably about 14, 15, 16, and her brother. And I have this picture in my office here of her and Johnny, one of the guys that used to come to Jamaica with us, hugging. And so I knew that this built a community. So that was really special for me. Anytime we're on a bus, talking, laughing, joking, screaming, Leslie using a mic to annoy everybody, you know, like that kind of stuff. You just realize how powerful life is, right? When we don't all know each other yet, somehow we are merging on this island. And that's the place that we merged. And we want, I think everybody could say the same thing, that all of us want to expose everybody to that. I mean, some of the footage we've had over the years is absolutely amazing. Some of the beautiful photos we have of all, you know, all the good work we've done, you know, and I'm proud that the Jamaicans welcome us all the time.
So before the project started, and again, Leslie's been involved with Jamaica longer than both of you, did you get any pushback from anybody saying that you wanted to be involved in this? Sorry, Stacey, I didn't cut you off. I have never got pushback directly from anybody in Jamaica, which is interesting. I have got pushback from people here. Who are you as a white woman? Who are you going to exploit people? Like, I've heard that crap, right?
I think there's
from that
safety. There's always that safety. You know, I know when I'm thinking about when as a student, there were some students that were really concerned about, are we going to be safe? You know, I don't know where that comes from, but there's a big, you know, misconception.
Right. I want to say hi to Tashi. Hi, Tashi. Yes, Dr. Tachi's in the house. And again, one of the great supporters of the Dr. Vibe show. She hosts the livest live stream on media, tech, and pop culture called Mediascope most Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern time on IG Live, and then 6 p.m. live on Facebook Live, Periscope, LinkedIn Live, and WJMS Radio. I'm gonna have to hit you up. And yes, you definitely. And that, yes, and also go on the Dr. Vibe show page today, our website. We just posted the replay of a conversation myself and Dr. Tachi had about the state of media during COVID-19 and the state of media post COVID-19. So she is my go-to. Yeah, and Dr. Tachi is saying, please do get in contact with her. Yeah, I will. Absolutely. I wanted to say one last thing. So I was a visiting professor at UE last year for 6 months. And there was pushback, which was interesting, from American Black woman of Jamaican descent. Oh. And she kind of said something on Facebook. So I had started, the Jahmeyka Project, in collaboration with Emperor's Circle, started a young women's group in downtown Kingston through Life Yard. And there was a young woman there from the States who basically said, you know, you and your white privilege, what are you doing here? Ooh. That's the only time. Yeah. And she posted on Facebook, which was even more insulting. So but I've never ever heard that come out of actual somebody from Jamaica's mouth, which was interesting. But and of course I pushed back, right? But and she was part of a group I belonged to, so she knew me and knew my intention, and so that was really all. Again, I think Jamaicans are one of the best at assessing people. They assess people. They say they don't like you. They like you. You can soon go, and they'll tell you right to your face. And that's what I appreciate about Jamaicans. So if I really was that great white hope that they thought I was, then they would have said something over the years for sure. Okay, Amy. They don't. I've never seen people that don't put up with any BS. No, they don't. They don't. Amy, any pushback during your time with the Jahmeyka Project? I appreciate that. I deeply appreciate that. Okay. Amy, any pushback from anyone with your involvement in this project?
No, I would say that, my experience there, pretty much, I think it's the most welcoming place I've ever been. When I was there for my practicum, it was just like, come here, let me show you stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm here to learn. And, you know, I don't have any pushback from anyone here either. If I reach out to friends or tell people about it, they're just super excited and they want to know about the project. So I think we've been really, really lucky with our experience so far. And definitely, I think we really come at it as we're not experts. We're here to tell anyone what to do. I think we do a lot of asking, and it really know. I think, Leslie says very true. If somebody has an issue, definitely we would have been told.
Right.
Because they're very, very honest.
So I just want to shout out on Periscope, I Can Do Dave from Australia saying, ladies, great job, fantastic work, which is wonderful. It makes me think, though, did any of you ever think that you'd be doing this, let alone doing social work, let alone doing it in another country? Do you sometimes pinch yourself literally and say, like, how did this all happen?
Yeah. I mean, I pinch my white self all the time. I pinch my white self all the time, Ed. Okay. I think a lot of it is just good relationships and respectful interactions, and I'm not just. I mean, there's so many tiers to the Jahmeyka Project, right? The students, the members, the mentors, the partners, everybody. I mean, there is. I don't think we've ever won a trip where there's like not 5 Jamaicans that tag along with us on our trip somewhere, wherever we go, to a social or service agency, whether it's Shane and Sabuki from Life Yard or Madge, who's like our mother of our project. So we were always culturally integrated really, really well. My godchildren were another one. At one time we had BSW students from UE come with us to the United Way. There's just so many different people, and I think I kept pushing that, and everybody would say, but so many seats on the bus, but I think that was an amazing part of the immersion experience there.
Yeah, I think your Leisha and Ray, your godchildren, they grew up with the Jahmeyka Project, through its evolution, phases. So in a way, they're all of our children.
Well, I think it's so much more fun to have, more people on the bus. It's just, you get to know different people, and I think it was a joy to have.
Okay.
Right. There's that connection with people, and us, that learning process back and forth just authentically happens versus going for a agency visit.
Well, Lisa's saying on YouTube, Leslie enjoys the spiritual musics. Is that true, Leslie?
Oh, you mean the reggae or the spiritual music? You mean the reggae? Jamaica, there's music everywhere. Jamaica has music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's how they are so happy all the time. I'm sorry, right? Even the direst circumstances, Jamaicans are playing. So even when I went there in 1996 and I was a student, it was amazing. It was amazing to me that every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, they would play Celine Dion really loud on these big speakers. And then at one time we stayed on campus. We brought the Jahmeyka Project or the students to campus, and they would play at 6 o'clock in the morning music. There was music all the time there. So that is part of Jamaica, and that is part of Jamaica's vibe. That's what makes Jamaica so amazing. Because you can go to island from island, and I've almost been to almost every island in the Caribbean. And there's something about Jamaica. I don't know what it is, but there's something about Jamaica.
What do you see the needs of Jamaica right now being, and are they different than when you first landed as a project on the island?
Wow, that's a good question. Ed, you got them coming on tonight. Good questions. Anybody want to answer that?
I think the lack of resources just continues to be an ongoing issue, and there doesn't seem to be, the end in sight with that. So that will continue to be a need. Then as more things are, willing to be addressed in the Jamaican communities, then just even more needs kind of are identified.
Yeah.
And anyone else want to chime in?
I went to actually today, I went to a webinar through University of the West Indies School of Social Work today, and they were talking about the COVID issue down there and how it's going to change the lack of resources to further lack of resources, and that people are going to, the mental health issues that they're anticipating, and how are we going to do work down there, both macro and micro work of social work particularly. So they had quite a few good speakers. So this is definitely going to throw a wrench. And maybe that motivates the Jahmeyka Project to help fill in that wrench, right? In terms of services to people, just grassroots services. I also have to tell you that the most innovating people I've ever worked with are in Jamaica. They may not have the physical resources, but the creativity and the wanting to help no matter what is amazing. So I cannot see any, I don't think I've ever been with somebody when I was in Jamaica who didn't want to help. Somebody draws a logo, somebody takes a picture, there's always this in-kind services. So they may not have money, but they have in-kind services to ensure that some of the needs are being met.
Nice.
I don't know if I answered
you
that
did
question.
fine. Amy, anything you want to add?
I guess I would agree. I mean, not to say anything bad about North America, but I just remember when I was there, it's just so true that they do so much with so little. And, to maybe come from an agency experience of, being able to purchase reams of printer paper and print out activities to do with kids and clients, and going, okay, well, that's not an option here. So, just being so much more creative and
Innovating.
seeing how innovative,
right?
and how far they can stretch what they have. I don't think they take anything for granted. They're just, they do so much with everything they've got.
The original recyclers. Exactly, the original recyclers. I've never seen in my life. Yeah.
Ended on a really good conversation piece. I want all of you to share on this. Yes, COVID-19 has existed and is still existing, and the effect it's had just alone in North American society. What are your concerns about the impact it will have in Jamaica, especially social service delivery, more and more agencies up here going online, and we have enough, well, for most of the time we have enough bandwidth. There are still people that don't have bandwidth to conduct it, but I'm looking at Jamaica and going, how is effective service delivery going to happen in social services with the state of bandwidth in Jamaica?
I think it's not going to happen in some of the communities.
Yeah, I can they just don't have it, and we're hoping they don't go under, because they do really good work with the people that are there, right? And again, it goes back to, and it kind of has a trickle effect, because there's a lot of USD agencies down there who get money from the States, and the States, is running a deficit, and Canada and in North America. So I'm hoping some of these survive, because there's so little few down there to start with, and then add this mess in. And they're talking, in this seminar earlier, they were talking about the macro perspective in terms of communities and how people are going to see each other and things like that. It's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. And I think that's where maybe the Jahmeyka Project can supplement some of that stuff with grant writing, etc.
Well, I'm really concerned about that, let alone here, but I'm just visualizing there, because I'm down there somewhat often. I'm just going, wow, it's
yeah. It's gonna be.
I think from a mental health perspective, because that's what I do. My regular other job. And I live in a community where we have a good size of the population who doesn't have that, but we really have a lot more when we compare it, to the communities in Jamaica. And so I think, we've seen such a rise in the need of services, and I'm sure it's there, and just maybe it's not getting addressed because they don't have those resources for accessibility.
And mental health has always been a problem down there. I'm talking about mental health, labeling mental health, getting services for mental health. And so now this is just going to make it worse. I think there was a week, about a month and a half ago, where there must be 5 different people from Jamaica contact me and said, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And I said, and because there is no services down there, right? And luckily we know Dr. Sweeney, who's one of our partners from the Grace Kennedy Foundation, and he does me a favor all the time and said, can you see this person? And he's a psychologist. And so he does the Jahmeyka Project and the people in the community a favor all the time to see people. But it is really hard to get any kind of services. And there's a huge stigma in Jamaica about mental health. I think it's getting better because I can hear now even my godchildren saying, I feel depressed, or I feel, so they're starting to label a little bit. Okay. So that's a good thing.
Are you seeing more younger people interested in the social work profession?
I think there's a large, there's like a large
you want to take that?
Age range.
Yeah, I think people will always be interested in social work because it's a helping profession. I think an MSW, I was reading an MSW and an MBA are 2 of the only degrees that are the most marketable degrees in terms of marketability and getting a job. And I think people are more and more relating that to good education is getting actually a degree that will give me a job, right? So I think with this COVID, I think a lot of the stuff, I think the re-examination of education is going to be interesting because people want degrees that they can come out with. I mean, with all due respect to history, right? To get a history degree, what are you going to do with a history degree? So, right? So I think people are going to re-examine what higher education looks like. And social work has always been a practice discipline. Not so. I mean, it's based in theory, obviously, but it's a practice discipline. So I think I think it's the generation either we're going to make a lot of money or we'll go in social services. I think you have to have a heart towards social work, and you know that you have to have something. You have to have something that says I want to help.
And it's
people,
building
right?
those connections with people. I think that really, when you're able to have that, and that's not always something that can be taught, and something we've been able to do through our work is building relationships with people, and it's really the heart of social work and social services.
Nice. How has COVID impacted the Jahmeyka Project?
Anybody want to answer that? I mean, we're kind of in a restructuring phase, which is great because we just hit it on time. So we're kind of in a restructure phase. We're figuring out what we want. We've made targets. Thanks, JP, for all the help in terms of streamlining the Jahmeyka Project. Who's committed, who's not committed. What do we have to do to expand, and what do we want to look towards the future? What do we want to see in the future for the Jahmeyka Project? Do we want to do more, more focused stuff? And so I think this is a good time for the Jahmeyka Project to grow.
I think, as far as, operationally, nothing's changed because we've been doing everything online because we're all in all different parts, of North America. So that's really, nothing's changed in that aspect. When we have board meetings, we're already meeting, through a video conferencing platform. And it's maybe giving some people, maybe they looking at ways they can kind of give back that they haven't done before. Maybe they have extra time, and so hopefully that benefits us in our need for adding people who want to work with us towards meeting our mission and expanding in the different communities.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's one of the nice things is because we are already online. I mean, if we weren't restructuring, it's possible it could have impacted our trip because this did kind of start around the time that we often would go. But I think we also have the benefit that we have been doing this online, as Stacey said. So we're able to have board members from pretty much anywhere. That's willing to make that commitment. So that's a really nice thing that we're not limited geographically of who we can have on our board and who wants to take part in the things that we're doing.
Excellent. So, Leslie, this is probably the best question for you to answer. Nonprofit organizations, always one of the biggest challenges, dollar. Right?
Dollars.
Yes.
The dollars. I mean, we've never made tons of money over the years because we mostly, I mean, this was mostly a student effort, right, over the years. So, I mean, we made enough to, and anything we make, we give right to the communities that we partner with. None of it we take for, administrative stuff for the most part, unless we have something we had to pay, like a bank account. I don't know what we've paid. Oh, for the not-for-profit status, that's really all. Otherwise, everything went to the community, right? And like last year, was it last year or the year before, guys, that we gave to Emperor Circle? We gave a portion to Emperor Circle. We gave a portion to 2 students who went to Sweden to present. As 2 social work students who went to present from UE. So we gave a portion, I think, of 1 ticket, plane ticket to them. So anything we make, I mean, that's how this project goes. We're here to strictly volunteer and give back. The dollars are good. So now that we brought JP on to help us with the kind of the project management piece and looking at getting more board members, and if anybody's out there who would like to do some work, grant writers, marketing people who know how to do social media, let us know. There's 2 board positions that we've opened up for that. So that will open up other things. In terms of I mean, when I rethought this and we were regrouping and restructuring, I thought of a legacy project. And this is how I perceive it. It may not be how it goes, but the whole idea is to write a large grant for a compound in Jamaica. So people from around the world, hopefully, will come down and kind of fill in the gaps that are needed from the helping professions down there. I call it iYard. I don't know where I came from. It just came one night. I'm like, okay, let me call it iYard. And so I had read a book, and this came out of that same idea of kind of bringing the world to Jamaica and filling in those gaps. And so that's going to be the first big grant we wrote. We also are going to seek a grant for I think it's been pushed to the following year, but Grace Kennedy, Tankita, Chance, she wanted us to go present in, is it Qatar with her? About community organizations working together. So we'll probably write a grant for people to go there. And we continue our fundraising. We've brought over 4,000 pounds of school supplies to Jamaica over the years. Yeah.
I mean, we're so,
and so
really, we have no money coming in, other than what we do our own fundraising efforts for goods or funds, services. And so now that we've kind of restructured and about to get the nonprofit status in Canada, and now in the US, we're in the process of looking at adding some people so we can do some of that grant writing, so we can do a lot more, because obviously we're limited as well by funding. So
I think we've had some very generous school supply donations over the years. As Leslie said, I mean, 4,000 pounds is a lot. I think we took the most, I don't remember how much it was when we went in 2019, but it was the most amount of donations we have since the project started. I think we have some very passionate people in our community that, make sure we get the things that, that we're looking for. And, we're on Amazon Smile, and, we're on Facebook. And so we have lots of places where people can donate and help us, provide those things and share that passion with us.
Or even reach out if they want to get more involved, in
even though it doesn't have to be money, right? It doesn't have to be money. People want to get involved.
Okay. So just catching up on some comments here. Xavier Davis says, one big family. Lisa says, no one is a stranger there. Speaking about Jamaica. JP says, love you guys, and says, from a North American perspective, we all work in a, quote, virtual office, unquote. I think we will continue to get creative on the delivery aspects. So there's some thought process going down.
And I think we're always quite innovating based on our, the MSW at University of New England being online. So we just carried this through to online. Why should we think about boundaries? in terms of demographics. I think we all are from everywhere, and if anybody wants to help from anywhere, we're more than happy. And people have approached us over the years, right? People have approached us over the years, and I said, "Can we come? Can we come?" I'm sure if I even put a shout out now, people have always offered to help. I think people, especially people who have come to Jamaica with this group before, people have always offered. Even in my private practice, there's a woman there who's a part of a church group, and she's like, "Yeah, tell me, we can do a fundraiser together." I don't think I've ever had a negative reception about fundraising, even if you give one pencil box or you give five 3-ring papers, or people always want to give. And so there was never an issue about the school supplies. But I mean, ultimately, we have to move this organization forward, right?
And now that we have the nonprofit status, that can be, something that people, when they're looking for, making donations, and then they get the tax write-off here in the U.S. and once the Canadian one goes through. So that's an added bonus to not only are you helping an agency that has little to funding, but get something in return in a way too.
Yeah, I want to shout out Xavier. You said Xavier. Xavier has been with us almost like from the beginning. He does all the photography for us when we're down there. He's from Jamaica, and he is one of the lovely relationships that have sprung up from the Jahmeyka Project. He's engaged to Amy. And we've had Jamaican Project babies, and we've had Jamaican Project engagements. So, and honestly, he's right. It's like it is like a family. We squabble like family. We do good work like families. We care about each other like families. So he's absolutely 100% right.
I mean, I guess in that way we are Jamaican in our hearts, because we'll fight and tell each other how each other's we're upset with each other, but then we move past it and work together.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So as we wind down the conversation, I want each one of you ladies to visualize 5 years from now. Where would you like to? Well, I'm speaking. You'll all be involved in Jahmeyka Project. It sounds like it's in your heart. But and speak.
That is,
what do you see, or what would you like to see Jahmeyka Project 5 years from now?
Who wants to start?
Well, I think one of the things I envision is us having trips where we take other working professions, maybe some medical, as well as maybe we take social workers, teachers, what have you, or even non-working professionals, just people who want to maybe do some service work and, being able to continue our mission that way, and continuing to grow.
Okay. Amy.
Yeah.
I would say that, I really love Leslie's idea, that we have, working for the future for the compound, and just always seeing it full of people. We've been lucky enough to go, usually once a year, and it'd be wonderful to think that compound is always full of people, on a circulating basis, that we've always have somebody there, sharing our passion and, continuing the work when we can't be there.
And
last but not least, I go along. I echo Stacey, and I echo Amy. That compound is that was another like an epiphany that I had when I was driving. Because I always said, because we always house ourselves at University of the West Indies, right? And so I'm saying, how can we build I don't even know rent a compound. And when I was supposed to be down there, I was supposed to be down there for a month this year, and I was going to go look for the compound. But I think that could be, for me, it's a big legacy things to have something there, and people can come and on a rotating basis and come there and make a commitment to Jamaica and the helping professions down there, right? So that's a big thing. A thriving organizations. I think one thing we forgot to mention, practicums. We have a lot of we had a student there this past winter who had to run home because of the COVID, and had another student approach me. And I think this will be our first test student that will go through the Jahmeyka Project, who will go in January from Dalhousie University.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're going to be offering. So we always wanted to offer, and then who knows what this blossomed into, right? I have to say that Amy brought her son when she went to do a practicum, and she kind of broke ground with that. And so her son went to school at Holy Family in downtown Kingston, and so she kind of broke ground in that way. That was the first time we had somebody go with a child. So we want to welcome everybody to go and again be mindful that we're there to share experiences and fill resources and help the community down there.
How come nothing in Montego Bay?
Oh, we want to expand out Caribbean wide.
All right, okay.
But Montego Bay would. I mean, we had a lady that we were dealing with down there. She was another American who went down there, and she has a great art studio, and she does a lot of great artwork, art related education down there. And we were gonna pair with her, but we never got to her, did we? This time. So again, the expansion is endless, right? If we can get some mobility here and sustainability.
I think we just started there because of the connection with University of West Indies, and so anywhere we can make connections with more agencies and continue to build the community, we will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, that's a wrap. Unless there's anything else you want to share with our.
Anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions for us? Or you've been saying them as we go along?
No, it just seems that your fan clubs are here, so you're
we have loyalist fan clubs.
Oh, you got fan clubs all over the place. Oh, actually. Sophia Jacob on Facebook Live has, how did you vibe with the nationals of the country? So I guess you had already answered that, but and are you continuing to vibe good with the nationals of the country?
I think over the years, only those relationships have cemented themselves really tightly. Again, family, right? Like Xavier said, family, that's what we like. People expect us to come down there, and people say, are you coming? When are you coming? So it's only cemented over the years. When Jamaicans like you, they like you. It takes a little while. It takes a little while for them to like you, but after they like you, they love you.
Well,
right?
And stay in contact with them even when we're not there. So it's just like, when you have family that lives a little bit away, you see them when you see them, but you are staying and continuing to build that relationship. And we've done that over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing we get usually is, how come you're not staying longer?
Right. Or when are you coming back?
Jamaicans love foreigners to start with. They love foreigners. So, right. So to start with, and we're aware of that. But yeah, it's just who's getting you from the airport. It's just a beautiful continuum that has happened over the years. And I think that's what makes people stay, right? In Jamaica, in the Jahmeyka Project is that part of it is family. We're all family with each other.
One last thing I want to put out there, because I do a lot of mentorship of fathers, men, and boys. What is the situation with the young boys there? Oh, and actually, Dwayne Morgan has jumped on Periscope. What? Thank you, Dwayne, for jumping on. But what is the situation?
Hi, Dwayne Morgan.
Yeah, the young boys in Jamaica.
I mean, from my point of view, since I've been going there for 25 odd years, definitely fatherhood, from a perspective of fatherhood, has gotten better. I noticed a lot of males down there have taken the responsibility of taking care of their children, and it's definitely progressed in a whole different way.
Wonderful.
Since when I got there, right? I just see a lot of men participating in their children's lives, being one of the main caregivers. So in that sense, it's progressed well. It has progressed well. I've noticed that continually over the years.
That's good. That's really good. Well, ladies, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule from wherever you are in the United States or Canada to do and continue to do a great job. I like to say blessings on what you have done, what you are doing, and what you will be doing. And I'm speaking, hopefully you'll get back down home, because you all consider it home, or get back down to your yard sooner rather than later. If people want to find out more information, where can they go online?
Oh, wow. Who wants to do it?
So we are a little bit of everywhere. We have our own website, JahmeykaProject.org. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn right now.
All right.
And we're spelled Jahmeyka.
Can you spell it for me, please?
Okay, so it's www.Jahmeyka project.org.
Wonderful.
And that's a tribute. That's a tribute to one of our partners down there.
All right.
The Ja.
Ja. All right. The
Ja.
All right. And also you can follow Dr. Leslie's escapades on IG because she's on IG a lot.
I am. I'm Dr. Yaffa. Follow me.
Yes.
All my escapades. And Jamaica Project. Jamaica Project.
Yes. There you go. Well, I'd like to thank everyone who watched us live on the replay tonight. I'd like to shout out to Dr. Tachi. I'd like to shout out to Stephen. They watch on the Get Vocal platform. And the Jahmeyka Project fan club that inundated YouTube. Xavier is saying Leslie, quote, ghetto frat, unquote. There must be a story behind that, but I don't want to talk about that.
There is a long story,
Okay.
and that's a good one.
We won't touch it right now. We won't touch that right now. But I'd like to say thanks to Xavier, JP, Lisa Boris, and the others that watch us live on the replay. Thank you very much for taking the time. If I did not include you, it's because of my head, not my heart. I am Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of epic conversations, the place of epic conversations. 2018 award winner in the innovation category, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, monthly host and co-producer of online fatherhood chats for all fathers around the world. Co-sponsored by, co-sponsored by Dad Central Canada's National Fatherhood Organization and Dove Men Care. As always, I like to end off my conversations by saying this: live your life as a dream. If you can dream if you can dream it, you can make it. Next up, sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions and then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. God bless.
Wow.
Peace be well.
Thanks, Dr. Vibe. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Five at the end. Wonderful. So that's all good. Thanks everybody for listening, and stay safe. And as Robert F. Smith, philanthropist in the United States who paid off all the Morehouse graduates' tuition.
Yes.
Tuitions. He said something the other day: if you're able, don't waste this crisis.
Wow. Peace, everybody.
Walk good.
Get in touch.
Walk good.
Walk good. Walk good. Bye, guys.
We're done. Oh, why did she leave?
Because Leslie doesn't listen.
Right.
Leslie lives in her own world.
Leslie, come back. Where do you go?
I can message her.
Yeah, could you please do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, message her and say, and Dr. Tachi, thanks for your support as always. Dr. Tachi is an outstanding lady. And you know what? I want to come down on what, because I wanted to specifically ask about the boys. So maybe one year, if I make the grade, I'd like to come in and hang out with the boys.
Yeah, maybe we can connect with an agency. You know, I don't know. We've not done a lot of that, but I'm sure we can connect, figure out somewhere, you know.
I'm sure the need is there. In fact, I know the need is there.
I mean, I know there are a lot of boys. There were so many groups they wanted me to run when I was at Holy Family, and there was just, there could have been 6 of me.
Yeah.
And you know, there was a group they wanted to have someone run for children who had lost their fathers. You know, and that was just something that there just unfortunately wasn't enough time, and I'm sure they'd love to have somebody come in.
I think that's what I see, you know, as a mental health and trauma therapist, when there's such a need, but we're there for such a short period of time, it's hard to ethically meet that need. Yeah.
Yeah, because the more you help people, the more help people need.
Right.
Oh, she's gonna make it back?
Oh crap! I forgot. I forgot you said to stay on.
Oh, she's coming.
There you are. He said at the beginning.
I know. I totally forgot. I was like, woo!
And she was like, "Can we get on Skype?" I'm like, "No, we cannot."
I thought they wanted to say something to me. That's why. Okay, sorry.
Oh.
Sorry. How do you think it went, Ed?
First of all, it's how you felt it went. It's your show. I just steered the ship.
That's a really good redirection, Ed.
Well, they're not here to see me.
I love I love conversations. It could be a conversation about the window. I don't care. Like as long as people are engaging, I think it's so important, and the way you do it are amazing. Right?
There's another. In fact, you know what? Leslie, you should go on Dr. Tachi's show one week. Media Scope.
Yeah, tell Tachi. Yeah. Tachi, tell me when I'm on it.
Because remember we had
that great conversation last year. We had that great conversation.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But yeah, ladies, fantastic work. And Dr. Yaffa was telling them I may have to come down there one week and hang out with the boys.
With the Jahmeyka Project?
Yeah.
Come, we want you to. JP wants to come down to our not-for-profit coach. Yeah. And so it'd be I think again, people are so attracted to the Jahmeyka Project. I keep telling everybody that all the time. It's amazing that, not to say the Jahmeyka Project, but Jamaica. And so if they know, and we never wanted to make this a volunteer organization, a volunteer tourism organization. That's never our intention. We never said that. We should have said that, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's always more needs to be met. And
we're going to concentrate on the helping fresh and needs down there, not necessarily that people want to come volunteer, right? But I think everybody that has hung out with us, who just has come down there, like a couple of years ago, we had the Temple professor come down. She came down and she hung out with us, and it's amazing to watch them in action, actually.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I'll let you go because you've probably all had a long day of being in front of a screen. So I wanted to make sure it was a good experience. The last screen, hope you see tonight.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Yaffa, you all right?
I'm all right. I'm good. I've been on a screen all day. So I was like, okay, time to get off. Bye. Yeah. Okay. Did you want to talk to me yet? Did you want to talk to me, or you want to talk to me another time?
Another time. Get you off the screen. Get you off the screen. You guys have been on too many screens.
All right. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Be well. Keep you safe.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Mic's always open.
Oh, good. So, okay. So if we, did he go?
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Sorry. Because I said once we get our grant, maybe you can come back on, right?
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.